Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are right now. Welcome to this Friday's Harmonize2Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. It's my privilege and enjoyment to share aspects of healing modalities generally, but in the main, JIN SHIN JYUTSU, every Friday on this presentation, Harmonize2Energize. Welcome to anybody who's completely brand new. The art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU was brought to the West back in 1970-ish by a Japanese-American by the name of Mary Ino Burmeister, who had learned the art from her teacher and mentor, Jiro Murai. And JIN SHIN JYUTSU, simply put, is an art of harmonizing life energy, sometimes called chi or ki or prana, depending on what culture you grew up in, harmonizing it as it moves through energy channels via what we call safety energy locks and what the acupuncturists call points. These safety energy locks control the movement and the quantity of energy that moves through these pathways, otherwise known as meridians by acupuncturists. In JIN SHIN JYUTSU, there are 26 of them, left and right of the spine, 3 in each arm. And they act, as I said, as regulators to allow energy to move through the pathways congruently. They are the width of the palm of your hand, and you can connect to them with your fingertips, the back of your hand, the palms of your hand, your thumbs. And if you don't have any hands, they're there and you can connect to them, maybe with your feet, but certainly with your mind, with your eyes. The eyes act as the door of the soul in traditional Chinese medicine. And what a lot of people don't often know, or perhaps were never told, is that Master Murai, Jiro Murai, who was Mary Burmeister's teacher, did study traditional Chinese medicine amongst other texts before he put together, synthesized the whole art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. It wasn't like there was this ancient art that he suddenly revived, although that has been written down. No, it was the principles of many different ancient arts that Master Murai synthesized and created the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. So today is one of those special Fridays where we have invited someone from the international community of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, a practitioner, instructor, self-help teacher, to share with us their experience of JIN SHIN JYUTSU throughout their journey. And maybe, and hopefully, we get to do some practices of the self-help technology. Although Mary often used the word, said that, you know, JIN SHIN JYUTSU per se was not a technique, it's an art. Yes, it is, but it did use techniques. So that's another little clarification. Anyway, without further ado, let's introduce to you today's presenter, all the way from Munich, Germany. Welcome, Gabriele.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome from Germany, from Munich. We have here 8 p.m. and we had a wonderful summer day.
Yeah, this is the very first time I've actually met Gabriele. I met her daughter. She was saying earlier she recommended Lena to come to the office, and she did. And I think I shared JIN SHIN JYUTSU with her on that occasion. And Gabriele has been a long time organizer, yes, practitioner of JIN SHIN JYUTSU in Munich. So it's a great privilege to me to welcome Gabriele today. I heard a lot about her, and so I'm excited to hear what she's going to share with us. And again, Gabriele, I can hop it or I can stay with you. It's up to you. You want me to stay?
You can stay. It's great.
Okay, I'll mute myself.
Yes. Yes, also welcome everybody. I have been studying JIN SHIN JYUTSU for over 30 years. And I also met Mary for 3 months. And I did a lot of classes. I know all the instructors and I have a lot to say to the community. So I want today to share my screen. I prepared a little presentation for you that you can take it in your daily life. So we start. You see here the beer. He's doing self-help, and he make here the finger toe flow, so we can do it every time as long as we want. And today I want to introduce you to the Trinity flow at first, and then I want to pick up one point that I always was struggling with during my studying, and so I found out the importance of that, and that I want to share with you today. So we know that we have a source where we come from. So our body is only a reflection of something bigger. And when we come into this physical world, at first, it is like when you build a house or something, you have a plan, a vision, an imagination. And that are the depths we are come from. And we come from the 9th depths. It is something we can see. It's a no thing. Mary always said to us when we should breathe out, then she recommended, drop your shoulders, let go all garbage and release everything you don't need. Maybe you can do it now. You can hold your inside of your knees and watch one breath. Watch the breath, how you can get rid of everything through this one breath. And after the exhalation, watch. That is the no thing, where nothing is. We have no good and no bad and no ill and no healthiness and something. And then you can start new with a new inhalation. And that is when we come through the 9 steps to the source of the sources, the 8 steps, what is magic, because there is a rhythm, the vibration, what brings something in movement, and then the light, the 7 depths, brings you in your 6 steps. It's only a reflection of something bigger. And we cannot see the 6 steps. It's an unseen world we speak from. That is sometimes a little bit confusing, because everything in the unseen world is opposite to that what we see here. It's a mirroring. And the 8 shows us that everything what above is at the right side is then below at the left side. Yeah, so sometimes it is confusing. But when we are in the 6 steps now, that is our main central vertical harmonizing energy flow. That's the spirit what want to come to another dimension. And that main central harmonizing flow goes from the head down to the pelvis and then at the back to the head. And it's always this circle. It is, we cannot separate the breath. The breath is one, but we separate it sometimes to understand. We say, we speak from the exhalation and the inhalation and between, the gap between. But the main central vertical harmonizing energy flow is always connected to the light, and you are an individual expression of that light. And when it dances down into the seen world, we need both bites. So this is a main central at this part between your pubic bone and your navel. When you do your hand at this area, that is the area where the birthplace of the supervisor is, that you can get at the ones, the inside of your knees, the first expression in that other level of dimension. And then you have different rounds. It's always the same. The energy goes down from head to toe and back from the toe to the head. It's always the same direction. And it is not so that you are in the space without no anchor. We have that anchor because we have the main central vertical harmonizing energy flow. And then through the supervisor, we have different rounds. The first round where you get safety energy lock 1 to 4, what will be your surface energy then, that you can have a container where all this energy you get from a higher source can stay. And then the second round, we have safety energy lock 5 to 15, that you can have a connective tissue and as well some fascia. And at the third round, we have a special movement, because at the in the third round, something comes to your arms. It's the mediator flow, and the safety energy locks 17, 18, and 19 are at the mediator level at the arm. And the mediator level is the bridge. The bridge, the water elements, the 4 steps is the bridge. But the mediator flow is also water element. It helps that everything is in motion, and the most label in the 4 steps is the stuckness. And the mediator flow want to wave from one side to the other and do the work, bring in this holy energy into another level. And then he goes back to the supervisor level, and the fourth round, we have then the 4 steps. We have 1 safety energy lock, it's 23. Then in the 5th round, we get the energy locks 24 to 26. And at least it is your structure you need. And then you are prepared to get a body. And that is what I want to tell you today, that now the mediator flow has a task to bring the energy to the earth. And I did not understand why it is the earth, because when we go to the, I have here the answer sheet, and when we go, no, I have not the answer sheet. When we go, here. When we go to the 5-pointed star, you see it here, it starts with our thoracic. Yeah, we have the lung function energy. And lung function energy, yeah, we know that it belongs to the second depth. Why, please? Now we are at the level of the manifesting function, bring the mediator flow, the energy to the earth, because lung function energy is Mars, and Mars is 5th steps. Can you imagine what I mean? And so I wrote here down that you can see the main central energy and main central flow is spirit, is fire element. The supervisor belongs to the air element, what are our thoughts, and the water element is the mediator flow. And then he gives to the earth, to the 24-hour circulation, what we call 12 individualized organ function energy. To that energy, what is the earth brings the mediator flow through this line. You see the red line. It's a gateway into your life. That's a transformation. And that only can do the mediator flow because he is combined with the Holy Spirit energy, with the personal Trinity. And the magic is that the third depths, when you study JIN SHIN JYUTSU, you will see that we have organ functions in the third depths, and it starts at midnight with gallbladder function energy. And gallbladder function energy is the magic, yeah, that you can have a body. Can you follow me? That's a magic what the third depth brings us as a gift, that we can have a second depth where we have a breath, a lung, an organ, what can do all the work during your life. And when we have attitudes, then the mediator flow cannot wave from one side to the other, because the mediator flow is like the gravity. It is a law what exists. The mediator flow connects us that we are all together. And when we have emotions, yeah, the word is really good in English. We don't have it so in translation in German, because emotion is the opposite of motion. And that is what the mediator flow always brings to us, that when we cross the line of our body, or when we use fingers, or when we use the three, then we always harmonize this energy. When you know the gallbladder function energy, then it is really a miracle how it is that you now have a body. And when we study the 12 individualized organ function energy, then we learn that at page 9 in text 2, Mary wrote that this energy builds your body, repair the body, and protects the body. And all attitudes influences the mediator. And I remember that Wayne said one time that all attitudes you can find in one, and that is fear. And I want to discuss today this attitude about fear. But before I go further, I show you the gallbladder function energy, because when we go to the flow pattern, we start with 12 and opposite 20. That is already the mediator working, because we cross lines. And the 12 is at the middle of your cervical. It's a 4 cervical, and it is represented through sun, and sun is 7. And 20 is at the forehead, and we have also depths at the head, and at the forehead we have here the 5th depth, and the 5th depth the 5th steps, yeah, the 5th steps, we have a higher vibration, a number, and that is 7. That is light again. And when we go to the next step, we have here's the part of the coccyx. What is, you see it here, it's a picture, it's the middle of 25, and that is a 7 again. And then you go further to the 16, and that's a 7 again. And then you come back at the supervisor flow, you come back to the 14th, and that's the middle of your body. That is where your solar plexus is, where you get the spark for your jumper cable energy, where you get life. Yeah, that's energy poor. And at least you go to the 22s, what you adapt to your new life you have now. And 22 is in the Sumne 4, and that's the window where you can receive all light what you need. And always when you think that you go stuck, or Mary said, when you have the attitude, yeah, for example, anger, then it separates the soul from the body, because then you cannot receive the energy anymore. And isn't it great that we have so beautiful and wonderful tools that we can find back to this harmony? Then my next step is that we pick out one from that attitude, and I want to pick up what we say 4 depths energy. Fear is that what bring everything to stuckness, that is not the definition of life. And what can we do? Yeah. And so I found in self-help book 3, maybe you have that book, at the first page, I found what Mary said to us. Oh, yeah. At first, I want to show this because it's I forgot the name from that he made that structure here, that everything is about light. And when we choose, for example, that we have the pattern always for shame or guilt or grief or fear or something, that is low energy. What we want is peace and joy and love, and JIN SHIN JYUTSU is the art of happiness. And Harmonize said he changed the name because he saw that people who do self-help or go to sessions, that they live longer, healthier, happier. Yeah, that is easy when we have our jumper cable to use it. And yeah, what I want to tell you from this first page of self-help book 3 is that Mary wrote, if one is disbelief, smile and hold your index finger. Smile and hold your index finger. And what does it mean? When I gave self-help classes, I always thought about it. What is it? Disbelief. What do she want? And so I studied about it. And the translation in Greek is to believe in or to rely on. And in Wikipedia, there is a definition, like to have. Do you like the situation? Do you like the moment? Do you like what you have in your life now, just now? And so I thought about that to make a sentence. What, for example, you don't like. Yeah, for example, you don't like the situation. I had a client and she didn't like the situation that she must give some documents to the tax office, and she had somebody. She said, you can do it, and please do it for me. And this person said, yes, I will do it. And then he took all the documents, but then he did nothing. Half a year she tried to phone him, to text him, to email him, but this person didn't call back. And so it was the time that the point came and she must pay, because it was too late and it was a lot of money to pay. And so she couldn't sleep anymore. And then she came in my practice and she couldn't sleep anymore. She was full of anger. Yeah, she was really, she was so sad about him. And then I said, okay, then like self-help book 1, take your index finger and smile and say, I love the situation. That's a person I ordered for my tax accounting did not call me back for half a year. Wow, she said, I can't say it. Please try it. Try love your entities. And then she repeated the sentence a couple of times and she got calmer and calmer. And then she realized that she cannot change the other person. Because when she can sleep and is full of anger, then it is not the result that the person will call her.
No.
So she let go all this energy and felt her breath. And then she was released of that tension she had on her back. And so my invitation is to you that you try that out. Please make your own sentence that you see in the eyes of something you have fear from. So breathe out and exhale all archaeological garbage, all dirt, all dust and greasy grime from the head into the big toes. And continue smiling while you grab your other index finger and inhale. Be aware of that gift. Receive the purified, revitalizing, renewing energy from the big toes to the top of the head. In repeating this for a few exhalings, or if time permits, 36 inhalings, one begins to see the simplicity, the fun in holding your fingers and of course toes. We have expressions to our toes as well. You only have the breath to get rid of. We have nobody who takes it for us. But you have a connection to a bigger source, and you can use that. You can remember that you have the light inside and the joy, the laughter, and to be thankful or to take care for somebody. That brings you to that high energy. The next side of Self-Help Book 2, she wants to show us that this index finger has a relationship to the 4 steps. And she writes it here. The index finger represents flow. What is it to be in the flow? Sometimes we see that other people are not in the flow. You see that they make something not right. And then maybe you can be angry about it or sad sometimes when you take it personally. This person don't do what you want. And then you see that this person outside is not in the flow. But that is a mirror to you, that it is inside yourself. You see it as the other person, but the other person wants to remind you that it is in yourself. And here she says, as long as one is in the flow, is it the perfect circulation? And there is harmony with no limitation, with no obstacles, no things, which are causes for disorders, various types of labels. You can harmonize your whole 4 steps and remember, When we have a label at the 4 steps, then we already have a label at this harmony at the 3rd steps, at the 2nd steps, at the 1st steps. Yeah, that it is a deep harmony, a deep disharmony. And at the next sentence, she writes, it is really interesting. I love what Mary did here, and I couldn't understand it over years, but now I know that she is a really wise person, because that side here, we have 3 pages for our index finger here, is really top actual. We need it really now in that time. The index fingers, when not in harmony, are the source for all lacks. Lacks of perception, lacks of balance in thinking, lacks of energy, lack of health, and here, lack of all material things. Yeah, when that is not in harmony, then it begins to cause fear. And one is only able to look and hear instead of really able to see and listen. And the index finger is used for blaming others, things, situations, or one's own unawareness or not understanding. At another level, the index finger represents the large intestine energy. And that's really interesting, because sometimes I couldn't remember to the flows, because we have so many flows. But when you understand what the large intestine energy wants to do, that you can get rid of all the garbage, then we look at this index finger and see that the 11 is represented through the index finger. At this level, because we have energy, safety energy locks, they are represented through a finger. And when you have a topic with the 11, then you can hold your index finger. At another level, the organ function level, we have here at the organ function level, the large intestine starts at the 11. Yeah, and when you do the first step of the flow, you hold your 11 and your index finger as well. And what is the 11? What is 11? Why is it so important? Do you know what it means? We have an expression for every safety energy lock. And so it is to get rid of garbage you don't need anymore. Yeah, and we have and 11 is the higher vibration of the 7 steps. What is light? We have the flows that we always remember, that we can receive the light through this breath now. And when you get a body, you start with the manifesting level. It's the 5-pointing star, and it starts with lung and large intestine energy. Yeah, so that it is really secure and safe that you can receive energy. And you get everything, but what you give away, that is your choice. And when you have a problem with that, then you can do, you can hold the 11 or the index finger or both. And at page 3, she speaks about it. Yeah, she says, the index fingers are also for easy impact discomforts. Yeah, because when you are here full, then the energy cannot go to the top of the head. And then you will have a discomfort in the back. All the burdens of attitudes, worry, fear, anger, grief, and trying to affect the back. Of course, we have at the back, we have fourth depth energy. It's bladder function energy. It begins to feel as though the weight of the world is on one's back. Did you have that experience one time that you think the whole weight of the world is at your shoulders? You cannot change the situation? Then remember to that index finger, to unload the tension, to unload the stress on one's back. Smile, drop the shoulders and exhale while holding the index finger. And to drop the shoulders is to be the observer of the shoulders, melting into the toes. One does not have to do the pushing the shoulders down. Be it. A smile starts to surface from within, and exhaling automatically takes place. A beautiful sense of relief, complete sense of peace permeates the total being. Yeah, and at least we have the relationship from the index finger to the little toe. So flow pattern from bladder function energy, it starts here at the forehead and goes through the back to the pelvis, and then at the back of your legs to the feet in the little toe. Yeah, and so you can help this bladder function energy that she can do the work, that you can get rid of everything what is toxic, what is stuckness, or you can as well hold your little toes. Isn't it simple and fun? No rules and regulations. Let us not fear simplicity. Enjoy it and be one's own testimony. For me, it was not easy to understand the different levels, because we have here one level. I draw here the hand, and at the left side, it is the level of the attitudes, and at the right side, it's the level of the organ function energy, because some organ function starts or ends in fingers and toes. And when we go through the 12 organ function, we see that sometimes when the energy is stuck or sometimes cannot do the work, then special fingers have a problem then. And that is really good to know when we give treatments and do body reading, because then we can read what the body is telling us, what energy need help. We have another expression that because we also have here the spine, and when we go through the thoracic, we have 12 thoracics, and when we count from 1 to 5, we go through the fingers, and the 6 is the wrist, and the 7th you start again with the fingers, and then the 12th is the wrist again, and then you start with the fingers again. And so you know when somebody or you have a problem with with a thoracical or a cervical or a lumbar, then you can hold the finger. And at this part, we have normally, when the energy goes horizontal, it's a disharmony. But here it's the horizontal energy, what brings the energy to some organs. And that is really good to know, because when we follow the self-help book 3, then Mary gives us different positions and for every finger. And behind that, she wants to include that, that this level is, that it's behind. The explanation for that is to know that here the spine has an expression to different fingers. What is interesting again is that when we count here the numbers at the index finger, then we have 11. So the index finger represents the 11 that the light can come through. And when you have fear, then it is a problem. But now we have only a few, half an hour, and we know a lot how we can get rid of fear, what affects my whole body. That in the answer sheet, we have here the expression. I think it is really interesting that we have everything here at the answer sheet. That the body is a receptacle into which energy flows, not a source, nor a source of power. This is the story of man in the main central vertical flow, the 6 steps, the spine, up the back, and down the front. As above, so below, and as below, so above. And I want to invite you to hold your index finger again. And we give us 1 minute to be silent and listen. Remember to be the smile and change your finger. Hold the index finger of your other hand. And you can put your hand to the opposite 11. And you can hold the index finger with your other hand. It's the first step of large intestine, organ function energy. Be aware of it, that you can breathe out everything you don't need. And you can receive all the light what comes from the source. The second depth, the breath, is your space you can shine to the world. You do it individual, different to me, different to Terry or anybody else. And we change the sides. We take the other side of the 11 and the index finger. And we can release all sadness, all thoughts. And the higher vibration of that depth is the 9. Today we have a 9-day. So we can start again. Start again as a new one. We have a 9-day and we have a Friday. How do you feel? So my invitation to you is, in that time, that you make your own sentences to love what you don't like. And the 13, for example, yeah, the index finger represents our bust line. So we can harmonize the whole bust line. We can harmonize every organs they live in the bust line. Of course, the index finger represents the second and the fourth steps, but we clear here the bust line through the index finger, and that is the heart as well. And the 13, and in the back, some 10. So, and then above, so below, so we have all inclusive. And then when you make your sentence, then, and be the smile, then you can see the world in a different way, because you can't change the world. You can only change your view to some things. And that is my experience I did with the art of JIN SHIN, with that wonderful tools that I could get rid of fear. I had a lot of fear when I was a young woman. My mother, she was a refugee, and I earned all the fear from my mother. And so I could get rid of step by step. And today I have a challenge, because I never did a session in public. So it's first time to do it in English.
Oh, you are
And yeah, and I'm really,
Yeah.
I'm
Just a
really
second.
thankful to
I'm
have
gonna leave the
possibility.
webinar.
Sorry, can you repeat? Okay, thank you very much for listening to me. I stop here, and we can see us better. Okay.
There you go. I didn't realize this was the first time that you'd done a webinar in English. Oh wow!
In English, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you did well, Gabriele. You
Yeah,
did well.
I have
I
a.
want to apologize to everyone here. When I sent out the notification, it said number 9. It said 9th of June, but actually,
Oh yeah.
it's the 23rd of June, which is a 5, which is erase all fears. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Perfect. So thank you. So many connections there.
Yeah.
For those of you that have studied beyond the self-help books, a lot of really great connections and things either I hadn't heard or I'd forgotten. I love the way you blended the left and right with the fingers there, the exhale,
Yes.
inhale. That's a very neat way of bringing the down the front, up the back, and connecting it to the attitude. I thought that was very helpful.
Yes.
And the positive aspect of harmonizing an attitude too, and the pyramid, the resonance, the frequency. I can't think of his name, which is slightly embarrassing, but he actually lived and worked in Sedona, the doc that created that system.
Yes.
Do you know his name off the top of your head?
Hopkins, maybe?
Oh yeah. Someone like
I think.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was a psychiatrist, right? Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we live in it's 2023 now. It's a 7-year. Yeah, and you know that the Chinese told us that we are now in a rabbit year, and 7 is perfect life force. So in that year, we can really go into our light and be the light. And that is why I do that. Please do it. Bring it to the world with your words. Maybe you only bring the index finger in, or or what else, but bring it to the world, because we need it, that we can be the perfect life force. We are all humans, and we are connected, and what you do, that I can better, and what I do, you can better. Tom?
Yes, that's the theta brain frequency of the brain waves, that purple color. If you close your eyes and you can see blue or
Yes.
purple, you're in theta, and that's
Yeah.
Dr. Maxwell Cade from the UK.
Yeah, and I know that it's I studied a lot, and I know all the depths in the head. And we have here, where the fours live, we have the fourth depth, and then in the line of the eyes, we have the third depth, and that's bridges. The 4 is a bridge, and the 3 is a bridge, and there lives the reptilian brain. So when we bring it, we make one breath, then we bring that into the flow. And when we hold a finger and breathe, then it's more, yeah, then it's revolutionary more, but because we bring movement into the body. And that, our reptilian brain, it's an old brain, it's never had an update. I have a computer, I bought it, really a very expensive computer, and now it's 2 years old. And my colleague said, oh no, that's not good anymore, buy another one. And I had different updates in 1 month. And our reptilian brain never had an update. So it's clear that we are shocked when my colleague is not polite to me. Then I react like when I must kill somebody or something, yeah. And sometimes the energy comes up that we are so out of our body, and when we breathe, we can bring us back to the, and it's so a good life, yeah. Not to take things personally, and know how to bring us into the flow.
Beautiful.
Somebody tell a situation from life when you did, when you used JIN SHIN JYUTSU, that you brought yourself into the center back. Is somebody here to want to share?
Anyone have a narrative they want to share with us? All quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know, if you want, I've used this example before. It wasn't actually me, but in talking to somebody about the use of fingers to create a harmonious resonance. A chap I was talking to said to me that he often would be in meetings where there was a lot of fear and a lot of negativity and a lot of gossip. And he said, as soon as he held the finger that was related to that resonance, the whole energy field changed. And then in a particular example he gave, it was anger. He said people were just getting really frustrated. He said, I started holding my middle finger, the whole energy in the field changed. I can't say that I have been conscious of that in groups, but I do know that it does work if we take that opportunity before we're about to maybe explode or maybe go into a less positive frequency. See what happens if you can just take 3 seconds to hold an index or a middle.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Very
Tom?
true.
Yeah, I had my heart rate go down really low to 25 or 30, and I bit my little finger and it pops back up to 55, and I do the heart hold, you know.
That's really powerful, yes. It's really powerful. And that is so cool, yeah, if you would tell somebody who has a problem with the heart. I did one time, we have here a practice, and a man was sitting outside. He was waiting for my husband. He is a practitioner as well. And he was waiting, and and he was nervous, and I said, oh, excuse me, can I help you? Is something with you? And he said, oh, my heart, I don't know what it is. And I said, oh, take your little finger and take it a little, maybe you take it and I don't know what, you take your finger. And sometimes you can bite in your finger. And then he did it, and I saw him a couple of months later, and he said, you helped me to get rid of the tension. I told it my doctor, and he said, I don't have to take the medicine anymore. And after, I don't know how many years, he died. And then I was invited to the funeral, and I was named, and he said, he wrote this by his own, and he said, look to this woman. She helped me that I got rid of the tension of my heart because I always hold my little finger. Isn't it great?
Beautiful.
It was amazing.
I was in a plane crash, and as we took my wife out, her heart was stopping, and we carried her to the ambulance, and I had someone hold the calves, and I was holding that heart grip all the way to the hospital until they got her on the machines.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
thank you very much for
Oh,
listening.
thank
And
you.
have a good time and have fun and be the perfect life force. Be the 7.
Thank you. Great job.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, take care, Gabriele. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. A lot of wisdom there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And there will be the replay within 24 to 48 hours. So if you know anybody, one that might need some kind of insight into balancing their fear in their life and bringing out the joy, this could be just the presentation for them to listen to. So thank you again, Gabriele. Say hi to Lena, and we'll get you back sometime. I'm starting to get excited, and I think Tom would jump in here and start talking about resonance and Schumann waves and all that. I think there's a lot of relationship there with harmonizing the energy field with the fingers and attitudes harmonized. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I think it's just me next week. Yeah, I think it's just me next week, but we got some other folks lined up for July and August. So tell your friends, and enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend, and see you next Friday. I guess I better stop the recording.